And what's up, everybody? I am going to show you a little bit of the progression or work behind block by block, which is the mission me and my Canadian friend Tom is playing. And well, this is pretty much a collaboration as far as the build goes with another Swedish guy who refers himself as Northman or JP. So we're building pretty much a base out of what's already there and adding some of our own stuff into it. And well, this is pretty much it. And I'm going to turn on all the stuff so that you guys get to see all the goodies. It's pretty complex. It has automated gates, of course, automated bar gates. As soon as you enter these zones, the bar gates will open themselves, so that way you don't have to get out of the vehicles, driving them around and doing what you need to do. And well, over here we'll have our logistics. So here you'll be able to load in stuff into these cargo containers, for example, or to these cargo box trucks, or you could airlift some of the other containers or arsenal boxes. All of these supply boxes are arsenal, and you can have them flown to various of locations as to where you want to have missions. But the whole idea with this is that you'll be able to reuse the base for whatever mission you're putting out there. Then on top of that, I'll have the airplane service. You just come to a complete stop in this area, and it'll go through about 5 scripts for the plane in this case, and it'll rearm, refuel, and repair. Same thing for helicopters, and I made 2 separate ones because it's more likely that there will be more than just one aircraft when it comes to helicopters coming in for support. So that's sort of separated over here so that nothing gets in the way when people are doing maintenance. And a little bit of everything for those who want to do fighter pilot roles. And you get to choose from the F-15C, the single-seater one, and the F-18E, the dual seat or the 2-seater. The more prototype variant of the Chinook, and some RHS vehicles over here, like the Blackhawks, and then you have the more prototype variants, the Comanche, the Taurus, or heavy airlift. Continuing over to the left, we'll have the A-10 Warthog, the more prototype variant as well, with a bit stealth characteristics to it. Then we'll have the Swedish JAS, and a second one over here, F-35, the Harrier, the F-16, and then a couple of other support planes. Sorry. And then even these hangars, they open their doors as soon as you enter these trigger zones. So pretty much nothing can drive out of here anyway, so you don't have to necessarily lock the vehicles here for the random civilians generated all over the place. But these vehicles are going to act as a sort of like a portable respawn. So these are respawn points, the actual vehicles themselves. So wherever you park them, you'll have not only respawn, you also have arsenal on them. So you can definitely build your own base someplace. Next hangar, I'll see what I'll do about it. So far, you'll sort of have to be an expert to fly these little babies out of here, but definitely doable. A little bit of statics. All ATVs, I've made them loadable, so they could be loaded in as cargo as long as you have cargo space all set, depending on the size of the vehicle. So these would be able to carry, say, 1,000 units of whatever cargo it is, and I think those takes about 50 or something to fill up. Then of course this is a collaboration between me and my Swedish friend Northman, and then my Canadian friend. So we figured, okay, it's gonna be a all United Nations base, sort of. So it's Canada and Sweden. Then we'll have the actual respawn area here. We have a couple of vehicles for support, such as rearm, repair, and refueling. And then a little utility truck that has a bit of a history coming from some of my Canadian friends' YouTube videos. I'll put a link in the description for those. Some other Swedish tanks, Swedish Leopard, a variant slightly older than the Canadian one represented in here, but both are Leopard 2. And then some other utility vehicles, and then we'll have the medical facility, which is pretty neat because all you need to do is get here if you get wounded or hurt, and just stay in this little blue trigger area for like 5 seconds, and it'll heal you up 100%. But I can't remember, it's like countless times that I had to rescue my Canadian friend from bleeding out, whereas we've arrived on this rescue helipad, and I had to carry him all over from here to there because he fainted as soon as we touched down due to blood loss. So it's not as easy as it may seem to have it that simplified with a trigger that allows you to fully respawn someone or heal someone up, but it adds a little bit simplicity to a pretty complex system. So I figured, oh, why the heck not? So Northman, he is automatically hard scripted into this mission or this base to be the base officer in charge, so he's the only one who actually has access to open these doors, and that's what these triggers are for. So they are tied to him and him alone. And inside of here you'll have ready to go mortars and other static weapons, and you just carry them out and loaded them into a vehicle. So that's pretty much the empty space. It's just the base for this one, but that's pretty much it. Next we're gonna have a look at our squad page, and because we are forming a new squad that we call RedSkullZ. I'm gonna put a link to that one as well, and I'm also gonna show you guys the webpage. So this would be our squad page found on Bohemia Interactive's own system, sort of. So you go to units.arma3.com/unit/RedSkullZ with a Z at the end, and you'll be able to find us. And we do recruit for new members. We are open, and we are gonna have. We already have 2 dedicated servers that I personally rent. The number 1 has 16 slots, and the number 2 has 8, and they're both going to expand to the server rentals maximum capacity of 32 players per server. So they are going to increase eventually. It all depends on, of course, the amount of people that joins up, but please do look us up and feel free to join us. And we also have a server for TeamSpeak, of course, because it is pretty sort of important to be able to communicate. And even if you don't have a microphone, you could still join, so that at least you hear everybody. But also on my TeamSpeak server, we have links and other useful stuff. But the TeamSpeak server is pretty much transforming over to a fully dedicated ArmA server, and it has a 50 slot support, so it's plenty of room for everybody. What's important to know is that once you get there the first time, you'll be ending up in something called the waiting room, or the at the gate. That's the name of the first room, where you will not be able to move between any other room other than the gate and the waiting room, until someone else, like an officer, say a sergeant or anyone above that, let you in. And so don't worry, it may take time. It's not always populated, so um, just be patient and come back till we catch up with you and have you introduce yourself and see to the everything is all good. And well, that's pretty much it when it comes to our TeamSpeak. Everything is here on this page, so it would be units.arma3.com/unit/RedSkullZ with a Z at the end. And then these are the mods that we use for our missions primarily for now. I'll put a link if possible somehow to this so that you guys can join our servers, which are not password protected. All you need is about 58 mods. I know it's quite a lot. Some of them are client-based, so like sound mods and some graphical ones like recolor and stuff. Those are not mandatory to join the server. You might want to run a different sound mod even. So you should be good to join. Just give it a try and see what happens. The server is pretty open to variants, so long as you at least have the one that are needed. So this is pretty much the mods, and you'll be able to find a link on our official Facebook page as well. I'll show you guys that one as well. So from here you will be able to see on Facebook, of course, our official page is still in early progress, so it's sort of like not as finished yet, but it has all the information you need, like the server IP numbers and also the mod links, which is linked to my Dropbox, so you'll be able to access the whole list and download the HTML file. And you can import it from the ArmA 3 launcher in the mod section there as a file, and it'll just load up all the files for you. Download, subscribe for. You get to choose to subscribe on the mods and stuff. So that's pretty much the Facebook page, and let's head on to a little short preview of the actual block by block. Alright, so this would be what you'll look for. It'll say the name of the provider for NetPlay, and then it says RedSkullZ server and number 1, and in parentheses it also adds that extra information saying that for mods go to our squad page. So just so that you know, it's quite a long name, but yeah. Already got my Canadian friend in there. He's asleep, I think, but he just left his guy in there, so. And these are so far the roles you get to pick. It'll increase to twice the amount of slots. Currently it holds 16 slots, and you get to pick from various guys. I try to be pretty detailed in terms of describing what they are all about. Till now we have our own slots, me, Slim Pickens, my Canadian friend, and Northman. Of course you are free to pick any one of these roles as well, but if we do come online, do expect that we may ask you to hop back up to the lobby and pick a different role, or we will probably kick you back out here anyways if you don't respect it. But just keep that in mind. You are free to pick the roles, but expect to give them up if we do come online. I'm gonna pick myself, and it's a 6.4 megabyte mission. This one is not the exact same one that you saw from the editor, because that one is a different, a newer iteration of the base, but it pretty much shows a little bit at least. of what it looks like as you're running about, and I'll also explain a little bit of the mission's nature in terms of objectives and such. Now with these mods you will get a couple of error messages like pop-ups. You just click them through, that's nothing to worry too much about. Alright, so welcome to the ArmA space, which is going to be your home for the whole mission. The whole mission is pretty much based as well, as the name does refer to, block by block. You're supposed to take control of each block. As you can see here, it's a progression. Eventually you will have all the blocks as objectives. Currently there are now 10 blocks covered, and on top of that there's also some area superiority of Kavala missions like BTRs, APCs, AA guns, like Shilkas, what have you, a couple of enemy helicopter patrols, and of course people on the roofs everywhere, snipers, pillboxes, and even divers in the water, and there's always some of those QCB guys as well. And of course there are mortars, enemy mortars in the area, and since we are using VCOM, which is a mod that enhances the AI, they actually do call in mortars on you if they spot you, so they don't necessarily shoot you the first thing they do. If they spot you, they may just observe you at a distance and call in order. There you have it. It's pretty complex, and it's definitely something that you would want to play with about 30 players plus, because we've been doing pretty good so far, but it's you can only do so much anyways. I mean, being this few as we are. So other than that, yeah, for the blocks in this mission, you have to seize the block and take control and stay inside the area of the block for at least 3 minutes for it to kick in. If you have cleared the area, then you'll obtain the control of the area and cleared it. If you do accidentally leave the area, it'll reset the counter, so you have to wait another 3 minutes again. So make sure that you stay within the block. The boundary usually goes from the streets somewhat in a square pattern. So make sure you stay within the area, and there are civilians everywhere. We are using the A.L.i.V.E mod that pretty much puts everything into life, like background life, background events, and cars driving about, civilians doing their thing during the day depending on what time it is of the day, and all that stuff. Yep, here are the automated gates. You just walk up to them. I made quite a bit of an extension to the trigger zone, because otherwise you would have to almost clip the gate with a say a tank that has a barrel sticking in front of you, and well, that's not a pretty story if you have that barrel above the bar as it raises. Same thing here. We have our, well, oh, I don't know if anyone is in here. I'm gonna drive this thing a bit further in, and we are using third person. It is a game after all, so even though we do imply realism, but no, they should have closed. Well, I might have been too close. If it closes, yeah, there we go. Same thing for this hangar. This is where you find the respawn vehicles, or the mobile headquarters, as I used to refer them. Everything is locked usually, but you have to use interaction key. That's the thing as well with A's, of course, is that I'm gonna hold holster my weapon. You do want to use the interaction key and look for that, and then unlock the vehicle, and then only then will you be able to drive or get in or something. Not necessary in here, because only Blue 4 will be able to open those doors. If a civilian somehow manage to get in here, they can only get out themselves without the vehicle. If for some reason you don't have a key, the keys are also found in here. I guess it's gonna be 30 keys for Western vehicle. May not work for some of the civilian vehicles, but there are arsenal boxes here as well. And then of course we do use the advanced helicopter model, pretty much full-blown simulator. As far as ArmA goes, I mean it's obviously not like DCS, but it is pretty much a derivative of their take on helicopters. So it is pretty complex. I might as well take the helicopter. Hopefully it's not going to be too loud so that you guys won't be able to hear me. But starting up the engine. And of course for flying I use rudder pedals and Thrustmaster's Warthog with a HOTAS. And normally when I fly helicopters I try to fly in VR actually, and that's also maybe from where you found me earlier, where I fly in VR or explain how to make ArmA work in VR. And unless you haven't seen that one, it's pretty useful, especially since ArmA doesn't natively support VR. It takes a little bit of setup. So over here we'll have the artillery base pretty much separated from the other one, so that we don't necessarily put people in harm's way, especially shooting the big stuff. You don't want to be anywhere near that when it goes off. So we decided, okay, we're going to put it a bit away from where people spawn in and do their thing. Of course, separated from everything else, you'll have F-22 Raptors as well. The logistics department, here you'll have all the containers and all that stuff. I can't remember parking that thing there. So yeah, the servers are on 24/7, and it's persistence as well, so you're pretty much good to go when it comes to continuing where you left off, sort of. Like you can come back the next day and everything will be as you left it, as far as your progression goes. When it comes to the mission, that's a whole different story, since people will be able to join and come and go as they want. The constant work with the collective. You never stop balancing this thing. That's always a little balancing act. You gotta react to whatever the helicopter wants to do, and always try to anticipate what it wants to do. That'll do. And holster the rifle. And then I put ATVs everywhere now and there, just to allow you to drive around the base. It's quite a big airport, so unless you're close like this, you just run over, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's called Block by Block. RedSkullZ is the name of our squad, and feel free to pay us a visit on TeamSpeak as well, if not just to say hi. And that's it. I'm gonna show you guys. There we go. Yep. So there you have it. That's our little emblem, and that's the emblem you're gonna have on your the right shoulder. I'll show you that too. Well, so much for showing that. I am wearing a uniform that is covering the patches, so I'm gonna pick something else just for show. All these supply boxes are arsenals. They are indestructible. So that way you can handle them, not having to worry about dropping them from high altitudes, unless you maybe drop them in the water, but that's a whole different story. Now let's see, we're gonna load up one of my other guys here. I might as well load this guy up. That's a good one. Yep. Alright. Coming out of this, now you'll see the red skull on the arm there. So that's what you're gonna get for joining us, sort of like a nice patch. Let's see. And also on all vehicles that support squad patches. The squad patch is designed by SlimPix, and yep, that's pretty much it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Next episode I'm gonna go walk through a couple of systems, the way we run things, especially when it comes to radios, what type of radio we use, how I make ACE to work, because you can't set it up differently. It is going to be different next time, because it's sometimes hard to see the white icons against the background. So I made it so that it blurs out everything else except for the icons in the future. So things like that. And then you have, of course, the interaction, which is anything to do with everything that you have in front of you that has support for interaction. We also use enhanced movement so that we can climb. We can even climb walls, so long as you can reach up to the edge. If you can't, then you can always use your buddy to be able to reach up. Like if he kneels in front of you, you can climb up on your buddy and then further up. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna end the little tour here by standing here by the nice flags, and Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell, and there's going to be a lot more content coming up, as I'm going to put a lot more effort into ArmA, and also more tutorials alongside with it. And yeah, if you want to definitely catch up more with my stuff, and also slim picking stuff, I'm going to put links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.